Good afternoon, councillors, and welcome along to our October meeting. I'll declare the meeting open. We don't have any apologies, so it's good to see a full turnout today.
Sorry.
Carry on. Any obvious conflicts of interest that councillors wish to declare at this point in time with regard to anything that's on the agenda for us? It's not. Okay. Need to move on to confirmation of minutes and reports from various earlier meetings. There's only one today, I think. Confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on Tuesday, 8th September. Would somebody like to move that be seen as a true and correct record? Councillor Reid, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Grant. Good. Is there any alteration required to that report? Not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, the motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. Is there any urgent late business that needs to be transacted today? There is one item that has been notified itself. So one item to be transacted in committee and relates to wastewater discharges renewal consultation. Somebody would like to move that be accepted as an urgent late business? Thank you, Councillor Bolger. Seconded, Councillor Phillips. Any discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, the motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. No further business to be transacted? No. We'll move on then to item 5, Support New Zealand Rural Travel Fund. We have some information here to be received for the council to be aware of. Would somebody like to move that be received? Maybe Councillor Dixon, seconded Councillor McNamara. Is there any discussion on that particular item? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, the motion is carried. Item 6, Rural Special Fund. And again, we have some information to be received, and it relates to the Rural Special Fund and direction from the Rural Special Fund Committee to allocate that fund to offset debt for rural bridge maintenance and construction going forward. Would somebody like to move that be received? Councillor McNamara, seconded Councillor McFarlane. Is there any discussion on that particular item? I know that in past times the Rural Special Fund has been subject of quite a lot of debate as to what it should be used for or not used for. And the decision of council some time ago was to put it aside and just let it gather momentum in terms of interest. But this looks like a pretty worthwhile investment from my perspective. So it'll be interesting to see if any other councillors have any view. But Chief Executive, do you want to make any comments on this one?
Particularly, you wish. I mean, the resolution is one of products that people are currently on TV. It's obviously a fund that's held in very high regard by the rural community, and it will be interesting to see, in light particularly of the prevailing interest rate environment we now find ourselves in, whether the rural community support the contention of our rural councillors that it's time to use the funds for debt retirement that will directly benefit rural ratepayers. But certainly the trajectory in terms of fund growth that the council has enjoyed with this fund since it was fundamentally put to sleep about 10 or so years ago. Those conditions have changed, and I think it behoves the council to go to the community with a compromise to find out whether that concept meets the approval of the community.
Okay, is there any other councillors who want to make a comment at this stage? If not, we'll move on then. Thank you, councillors. Move on then to item 7, which is the NZTA financial assistance rate, and the fact that it has moved from 55% to 59%, which is fantastic, and a program of how that extra funding might be used from our roving asset manager, Peter Stanbury. And Peter, do you want to make any comment at this point?
Great worship. Just saying this is a following on from what was tabled by the CEO on the 27th boards. It has allowed us to enhance a more enhanced program for work, especially around the rural focus. Just a point of fact, this budget has actually been lodged with NZTA as a draft because of the timing that we see at the end of the next long-term plan. Having said that, there's still discussion that can be had. So we'll just see your feedback, but it's really trying to look at that level of service. We use it mainly for the level of service in the rural district. So,
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so the item is now open for discussion and/or recommendation.
Yes, Your Worship, I was just wondering how much lifting the rural gravelling by 100,000, does that actually bring us up to what the engineers expect to be maintenance amount, or are we still?
Make a comment on that one, Peter?
this is through the worship. This is a theoretical loss here. It gets us about where we need to be. 100,000. That's let's say another 30 years. So it's a significant increase in what we have at the moment. But we have had some fallback as well as far as the cost of getting the material out and the cost of sourcing the material. Those actually seem to be rising quite significantly as well. So yes, there will be an improvement.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Doug?
Your Worship, through you, Peter, on your report, you've got streets alive improvements. You've got a proposed budget of 60,000 for permanent installations. How do you know if the installation is going to be permanent when they're going to be trial layouts? So is that like you're wanting, because we've got 900,000 allocated from NZTA for that. So you're asking for an extra 60,000. But we don't know what they're going to be building. So with that,
I think the trials have got to happen before we can make a decision about what's going to be permanent. So the assumption is made that there will be some permanent structures put in place. If it's not, then I guess that
you've got 60,000 sitting up the sleeve, which we have used. So is it something that's most of the other parts of the report, I don't mind, but that one there, it's like there's no decision being made on any of this. So.
Your Worship, I think the key here is there's the possibility that it may well be an improvement inside the control process. So the idea is to allocate some money for that, not knowing what it might be. But I do wonder, Your Worship, given the Council guidelines comment around just the $100,000 enough for gravel, I wonder whether these amounts could be set aside for year one and reviewed in the second year, so that if we haven't quite got a weighting right amongst the different priorities, that we can recast the allocation to suit where the need lies.
That was sort of where I was going with my question. Instead of allocating exactly 60,000.
We don't know. We don't know.
Yes, exactly. So let's get
60,000 is over and above the 900,000. So we will need to bleed the 900,000 plus 100,000, 100,000 in the forecast. Do you think it's going to be the whole package? Now it's not.
Sorry, I can't quite hear what you're saying.
The we're led to believe at the start the 900,000 was going to do the whole package, and we're going to put 100,000 in the council's footpath budget. Now it's growing for another 60,000. Is that right? Why has that happened? Just have we not stayed in budget, or have we blown the budget?
Your worship, the grant, 900,000, project is trialing, is actually includes around account. So a lot of those trials will be long lasting, like I was saying, the wayfinding, the installation seating that's put in, they will be long lasting, but some of the implementations we put on the street, like cube protrusions, those we trialed, if we want to go forward with them and permanently, this project is primarily about trialing.
We weren't sort of we were led to believe that this was an all package deal that would be one and only. Now we're going to 60,000. I think it's a wee bit misleading for the council.
So I think the Streets Alive was always about communicating with the community about what their aims and desires and aspirations might be for the community in terms of getting around the whole of the town. And I guess there will be ideas thrown up that need to be tried. And I'll be sorry if council decided that I'll go out and ask the community what they like and not do anything. And I think that this is an opportunity to have a slice of money to at least do some trials.
We sort of thought the 900,000 was not just trials, it was actually doing the job.
Right.
Yeah.
Through your worship, I asked Peter a question. If the trialling costs are less than 900, can those allocated monies be directed to physical use?
I have been told that we're not spending that money until such back up into other causes around country. So, that won't be for permanent. See that there will be things that we deliver through this contract, they will be on, will be lasting. So some of wayfinding the signs and installation people in place are not going to be taken away afterwards. Certainly some of the things that we're trying on the streets themselves, they will be of temporary nature. And we find they are working, they have a side effect, we want to lock them in.
So I think the idea of the opportunity that's raised about after 1 year review of locations sounds like a reasonable way forward. That was what you were suggesting?
Yes.
Council feel comfortable with that going down that track? So need to receive the report and agree to the investment for the future to be reviewed after the first 12 months of involvement in the Streets Alive program. Are you moving that, Councillor?
Yeah, I was just, through your worship, I was just going to indicate with regarding that increase for the metalling budget, that obviously the survey that's carried out will be carried out again to see what percentage of the road users have been satisfied with what's been applied when we look at as a proviso to that extra funding. So that would be one of the additions. Yeah, I'd be happy to
So that's
pass.
part of our annual survey, isn't it?
Yeah. So it would be returned back to council so they see that improvement or non-improvement, depending on the situation. But I'd be happy to move that.
Are we happy to move that direction? Dixon?
I have another question. Question through you, Your Worship. It's pleasing to see the bridge replacements that don't meet the weight requirements, the heavy weight requirements, because it's an impediment to farmers and I think to rural transports. I'm wondering how many there are in the district and how quickly that the funding could be implemented to upgrade those bridges.
Free worship, it is for 2021 to 24 years, so we'll actually be on those years that extra money will be spent.
And how, do you know how many bridges there are that don't meet EPA weight?
Sure, the top of my head, about 21.
They can be fixed within a.
Yes, that's some need some significant replacement, not just need some sort of component. So we should go and make a which is
Excellent, because they are. Thank you.
So my understanding is there's about 40 bridges involved in terms of the long-term upgrade process. Is that right, Peter?
over the next 30 years. The next 30 years, we've got 40 bridges that are planned. So we've got a 30-year plan at the moment. Some will be replacements, some will be some significant component replacements.
And you may well recall that there was given that we're in the electoral process, there's quite a number of promises being made by various parties around the country at this point in time, and the National made a promise to upgrade all the bridges in the Southern District, which amount to a few $1 million, but mentioned nothing about the district at the time. So I made that point known to people on national circles, and they've now got a copy of that bridge report. And should there be they have any influence on budgeting circles going forward, then any funding that's coming to South End will also be shared with the school district. So Councillor Bolton and Councillor Phillips.
I'm prepared to move the recommendation. We'll wait for Councillor Phillips to ask the question.
Through your worship, I just asked Peter, the Streets Alive program, are you going to have some sort of particular project budget going forward once you know you've done your trials? Because if you're only allowing 60 grand, it might be a lot more. And we could end up in a year's time saying that you want $100,000 to process the Streets Alive program. You know, you've got nearly $1 million to spend on this program, but you haven't got any money to spend on a so-called permanent structure as such, right? You know, it's a temporary structure. Some signs will stay, some may. I'm just a little bit concerned that you're going to come back to me and say, oh, I need another extra $100,000 because the Streets Alive program has been a success and we want to implement it, but there's no money in the budget for it, but I need money for it, if you understand what I'm talking about. So where do you think you might get that budget money from?
For your worship, there's an allocation here of us, 60,000, and they have one here. But through the other funds, donation renewal funds, which is the channel, pedestrian, or path funding that we have up here every year, and some of it can actually be diverted or it can be used just as far as the crossings go and the children. So we won't cover all that, but certainly be an element of that. This $60,000 is probably an advance on what we use.
Okay, so you're going to say then that you'll probably defer some of the long-term maintenance projects that you have already on your books at the moment to do the Street Alive program. Is that what you're saying?
Which we have two sets of funding for maintenance and the other one's for renewals. So we are renewals budgets.
Okay.
And I guess when you ask people what they want and you take that on board and trial it and find that it's either good or bad, if it's good, then there has to be some priorities made in terms of their budget or increase in the budget. So that'll be for council to decide at this point in time, or at that point in time, whether that's an appropriate use of funding or not. But yeah, engaging with the community is a fantastic thing, and it has to happen. But it does throw up issues that councillors are going to have to grasp as time goes on. And we're going to get more and more of this because I believe that councillors are moving over. It's getting to the point of wanting to engage in a stronger way with the community, but we might find that they want more. And we're going to have to have some serious things about where our councillors. Councillor.
I still think it was a bit misleading. The project was put to us as a package for the Streets Alive, and it was going to cover all the costs. And now we've got some bills rolling in. Well, to be, 900,000 is a lot to be just trying. You think some of that should cover quite a majority of the capital works.
Look, I understand you don't necessarily agree with that, I understand. Councillor Bodge, you're moving the recommendation with the advisor that
Yep. And to be honest, somewhere along the line, we had confidence in the road engineer, but he was able to direct us from his expertise with Ken, that experience, and so that's why I'm more than happy to move a recommendation.
Okay, is there a second for that? Councillor Wood, thank you. I'll put that motion, all those in favour, please say aye. Against?
Against.
Councillor Garland and Councillor Phillips. And Councillor Grant. And Councillor Grant. So two Councillor Grants. Okay, all against. Right, we'll move on into item 8, which is South and water elaboration. So Steve, I think it's reasonably well laid out here, but
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. This project was in danger of having paralysis by analysis and analysis in terms of which is the way forward governance structure around the development of feasibility study or the overviewing the work of any directorate that is established. So in the end, I was personally glad that they actually landed on, they being senior engineering executives in Otago South, and landed on some candidates, and then ultimately Mr. Matt Russell, who has made himself available to work 3 days a week on the investigation of whether any opportunities for shared services in Three Waters, given the national direction that's coming at us in a enforceable way, you could argue. And I think the first phase here is you see in paragraph 11 of the memo that went to the Otago Yarra Reform, subsequently produced by the Southern Yarra Reform, and just talks about the priorities that Mr. Russell will be charged with. So in relation to condition of assets in each participating authority, consents, and we, of course, Laura is one of the first out of the blocks in terms of the wastewater discharge consent. It's due for renewal with Coonawarra in the next couple of years, compliance, performance issues, and key projects and priorities. So from just a Gore District perspective, it would be quite useful to see what other councils are faced with and place ourselves in context. I think each council believes it's a swamp full of alligators that needs to contain, and it will be interesting to see. And things like asset condition, where you find, I suspect that some communities may have more advanced assets in respect of age, they're newer, so it seems to mine. And then compliance and performance, we do get reports from the regional council, and it would be useful just to line all that up. So, because ultimately, I think people want to know if they're going to enter into some partnership, who are we partnering with, and what are the issues that need to be resolved for partnership to get on the right foot. So, this Your Worship, there is now a suite of work is commenced. I haven't yet got any progress reports, but the intention is to bring this up to you at regular intervals to keep you appraised of the project as it unfolds. Time bound because this whole council will be invited by May next year to consider its position in regard to participating further in the stimulus funding package and the investigation required thereof from central government. So we've only got, as we stand, 7 months to form a view. The next gateway in this process will have more of a binding, not completely binding, but will be more of a harder obligation to stay the course in this particular process.
Okay, so open for discussion, councillors, and the recommendation. I can see there has been a lot of talk about what is the best way forward, and I think that while this may not be perfect in a number of ways, it is a pretty pragmatic approach to both problems that's working together. And there's been an assumption made that whatever a structure might look like going forward is likely to be at least the size of what we're talking about here today. It may well be bigger, but at least this gives us a really good sense of what's possible, what the challenges are, and where we fit in the whole picture. Okay, is there,
Is this sort of preempting a wee bit, because the election's going to set who's going to set the rules, and then moving on from the election, we're probably 1 to 2% of the population in New Zealand and are hardly listened to. Are we going to actually get a voice at the table, or is it going to be implemented by government and put down upon us?
But I think that you can be assured there will be a voice, and whether that voice is listened to, necessarily not is another matter. I believe the experience I've had today anyway is that at least they understand the challenge of the South Island, but there is quite a strong view across the South Island that all of the South Island rather than the whole of the South Island, because there are so many different dynamics at play if you look at that larger area. And this makes a logical package for this part of the world. You may not end up with this. You know, it could well be a cannabis out across yourself. Who knows what the future's like. But I think whatever the shape of government going forward is going to be changed. This is the view of the current administration, but potential future administration might look like. Councillor Dixon.
Through your worship, does this investigation, will this give us some clarity regarding our water infrastructure under the ground and give us a database of what needs to be maintained and renewed?
So I'll let somebody else answer that, but my understanding is asset evaluation is a big part of Mount Russell's role. So that will obviously be able to, once you've done that evaluation, then see what's there. Right.
So, Your Worship, I think it's more about analysing what is the quality of the asset management yes, by councils. Because we all use different. And again, going back to the age of your assets, so some of the councils like Centratel and Queenstown, I might take a hunch on that, but they might have a lot better idea about a lot of the conditional networks do it. And they've had modern systems in place. Infrastructure is best into their care, whereas older communities, they draw open to age assets. Maybe, I don't know from a board point of view, we're still finding a lot about what is underground. And so I don't Matt Russell is not there to, he wouldn't have enough time to do an asset condition assessment for each council. What he will be doing is looking at, okay, what is the data that each council has, and what tells us about condition of assets.
I guess if it tells us nothing else, it's going to tell us what we don't know about the condition of assets rather than perhaps what we do know.
For your worship, does that mean that we will be upgrading our database on, because just listening to Equip on Three Waters today, they said it was a priority to actually have that database of the infrastructure.
through your worship. We are continuously striving to obtain the condition of the data and the age of the data. Currently, we have challenges of the integrity of the data we have. We are continuously revalidating it. I think I have put a special task force onto NatStream to make sure we generate as accurate data as we are building new one. And the backlog of whatever asset data we don't have, we have to keep continuously updating it.
And further to that, Your Worship, if you reflect on last month's council, you allocated a sizable portion of stimulus funding for CCTV, which is directly related to finding out what is the condition of your assets against and reform where you invest towards to actually address the most areas of need.
Any other questions or queries? Somebody like to move the recommendation? Thank you. Well, second is that. Was in favour, please say aye. Against? Takes us on to approval of stimulus funding and from chief executive
Thanks, Your Worship. This is really just an evolution of the thinking in Otago South about how much money needs to be set aside for this investigative project. So initially there was just a thought of $1 million across the two regions would cut the mustard. And then members of the combined mayoral forum, Otago and South, thought it was a bit light and decided to up to 2 million. This 375 that had already been previously allocated by the Department of Internal Affairs. So this has resulted in a slight increase in the council's contribution for that study, which in turn has a slight knock-on effect on the amounts that we can allocate that you previously approved for the stimulus package. So the intention is just to reduce slightly by 40-odd thousand the allocation to the William Street wastewater main and renewal, and make too much of a dent in that particular project.
Okay, so open for discussion. Noted.
Just, I don't know, through your worship, why are we picking on the Wigan Street sewer main? Yeah, from my profession, it's the main trunk, it's the main mine. Why would you take it from that project? What are we missing out on? Pretty important piece of the puzzle for our asset. So
Yeah, it's a pretty critical asset and not really good efficient. So are we comfortable that the funding that's been allocated to that project is going to do the job?
Yeah, through your worship, the existing contract of interim renewal triggered after the flooding. We have used the same value to allocate the money for extending the renewal of that existing Wigan Street sewer trunk main. So we hope it will be within the budget. We assume the same contractor will not be going to the market.
I think Ramesh, what Councillor Grant is saying is why Willow Street main and not say CCTV?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just do a little bit. Probably Matt might want to comment on that.
Yeah, through your worship, yeah, I can comment on that. I mean, I guess potentially you could take it out of that CCTV package of work, and this discussion really is around how we split up the pie in terms of the money that we've got from the government. If the council is wanting to invest further money in Wigan Street to undertake further works there, certainly we can do that. Probably need to have that discussion around as part of the LTP. We're not expecting at $1.89 million to replace the full pipeline, the full Wigan Street pipeline. So that will be another further project to do the remainder of it. We'll be able to figure out exactly how much is remaining once we get the tender prices for that portion of the project. I guess the reason that we took it out of the Wigan Street project is because we felt it's going to have less of an impact because that is the biggest project. You take the $35,000 out of the $600,000 of your CCTV project, so it's going to have more of an impact. And I guess it's weighing up the importance of understanding the condition of your assets across the town versus investing in one single asset. So it's sort of weighing things up and pros and cons. But yeah, from my point of view, I think I covered this in that previous report I've got to council, is that for both of those projects, there will be a requirement for further investment in the future. So it's just a matter of where you want to allocate that money.
So both projects are providing where we want to save any money that we possibly can. So I guess that is for council to, we would rather have that saving directed to CCTV. Sure.
And even with the CCTV option, we're not actually doing the whole town anyway. So taking 35 out of that to me would be fine.
So Richard?
I was, through your worship, just a comment that it's a bit like what Councillor Bolger has stated, that as councillors we need to place our trust in the water managers to be advising us where this cost come from. And as long as we're not robbing Peter to pay Paul, a situation like that it turns around, we've got to find money somewhere else along the line.
I guess you're right about security water engineers around the table. But we are here charged to make the best decisions on the advice that we get. So I think it's appropriate.
It's the weak.
The advice we're getting is that we can't do both jobs. So it's really a matter of.
They're indicating to us, worship, they're indicating to us that the larger project is the most appropriate one to absorb it, and we have to endorse that.
Right. Any other comments?
Yeah, West right. I'd just like to recommend to the rest of the councillors that the CCTV footage of the district is vitally important, because it's going to guarantee how much money that we actually need to spend, what our infrastructure has actually failed, how much has failed, how many kilometres we need to replace, and it may indicate in the future to the whatever the identity may be, how much money is allocated to the Gore district. That includes Tara and Waikika. And I'm hoping it's going to be a lot. But just remember that we're only a small council, and the big players in the big world always swallow up the little ones all the time. So we've got to probably fight tooth and nail for everything we can get. And as I say, it's vitally important that we have the right numbers.
You did right. I think that anybody that tries to swallow us up will find it correctly. It will be that advertising, but who knows? Right, so somebody like to move. Oh, sorry, Stuart.
I just agree with Councillor Phillips that you need to know what your systems are like. You can't budget or prepare any sort of plan if you don't know what's under the ground you're dealing with. So you've got to put your money into CCTV first. Even increase that budget if you had to know what you're dealing with. Then you can work, you know what's there, you can work out a budget and a plan. Don't know what's there, it's very hard to plan. You don't plan, you plan to fail.
Okay, so failing would somebody like to move the recommendation? Then Councillor Councillor Bolger. Recommendation, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? I'm against. We'll need to staff warrant and authorisation, and it was good. We have a memo here from Student Secretary. Give warrant and pass to Rebecca. And Rebecca, is this your first council meeting? So welcome along. It's good to have you on board, and look forward to working with you. And looking forward to the capacity of running to this council. But do you want to make a?
Pretty straightforward, Your Worship. We just need to, if delegate specific authority to Becca to discharge her duties as General Manager, Director in Community Services. And so this is a council delegation that we must approve specific to the officer. And so we've taken the opportunity to give her a comprehensive suite of delegated authorities so that she's carrying out her duties, and particularly in regard to compliance and the various the RMA and local government. She has the authority from the council, and there are no technicalities that will occur in any type of action that we take.
Right. Somebody like to move the recommendation? That's a vote. Thank you. See the council. Is there any discussion?
Through Your Worship, just asked a question, just clarification. So when it comes to a hearing and you have a chair, when it comes to striking evidence, and it's still chair's the option or works with the officer? How?
Yes, through Your Worship, yeah, that authority, we have a separate list of authorities for chairs of hearing committees, and that authority is vested in the chair based on advice from an officer.
Officer, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a recommendation on that. There's no further comment. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, the motion is carried. So last item on the open agenda is New South Wales results, and we're pleased to say that we have had the $500,000 approved to this council to fund a program to engage with both youth who are disengaged and adults who have been dislocated from their employment via COVID. And the proposal that we put forward to the task force and to MSD was one where there is a very strong partnership between the council and in terms of delivery of this particular program. And there will be 2 full-time people employed in the process. So the Community Networking Trust will employ the project pastoral care navigator. So that's a person that's very hands-on in terms of working with the individuals that will be involved in the program. And the coordinator will be employed by the council, and the coordinator will be probably slightly up, but connected quite strongly to the pastoral care, but also very strongly connected to potential employers and actual employers, as well as being connected to the various agencies that can help those people along the way. So hopefully this is going to be pretty successful, and if it is successful, then there is a very strong possibility of further funding to carry on into the future. Any questions or queries? I think it's really just the pastoral care navigator, I think, is pretty much been identified and will be up and going quite soon. The coordinator position will be advertised in the very near future, and then hopefully there'll be some good applications going forward for that. So I move the recommendation to be received. It's received. Councillor Gregson, thank you. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, motion is